We don't need to be driving up there in the fog. When it gets really thick, it is really hard for us to see.
Only on 3, you'll hear from the driver involved in the Signal Mountain school bus crash. Local 3 News at 6 starts now.
This is breaking news from Local 3 News.
And you'll hear more from the driver in just a moment. She was cited after a crash this morning on Signal Mountain. 16 students were on the bus, one with an injury described as minor. Deputies say the bus driver was trying to navigate a turn onto Rolling Meadows Drive when the driver drove the back wheels of the bus off the roadway, causing it to hit a culvert. The driver fell out of her seat and the bus went into a yard. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. Good evening. The Weather Service did not issue a dense fog advisory this morning, but as you see to my left, at 6:50 this morning, there was dense fog with low visibility. Our crews have been on the scene in Signal Mountain learning more about what happened when that bus crashed this morning.
And tonight you'll hear from the bus driver herself for the first time as she got home from the hospital. Jeremiah Beatty is here in the studio to begin our team coverage. Jeremiah?
Yes, David, I spoke to Margaret Miles to get her side about what happened this morning. She feels terrible and says the weather played a role. Miles has been a bus driver with the school system for 20 years and says she loves the kids there like she would her own. She says on the mountain this morning the fog was thick and says she had difficulty seeing the roads. She says in hindsight there should have been a delay issued so incidents like this don't happen. She shared a message to parents.
I'm sorry if I put anybody in danger. I wasn't.
That was not your intention.
No, not at all. I love my kids, so
it was just an accident.
It was because of the weather.
Miles says she tried to use the brakes, but the moisture made it difficult to stop the bus. She hopes this situation serves as a reminder to delay classes or cancel school altogether. Now, neighbors describe her as a sweet individual and say she moved to town to take care of family members. The Hamilton County School spokesperson says Miles hasn't had any previous complaints since she started her role as a bus driver 2 years ago. In studio, I'm Jeremiah Beatty, Local 3 News.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Fog often impacts visibility on Signal Mountain. The video you see here was shot by our crews quite some time after the crash happened. The low-based clouds occurred about 1,400 feet above ground level. Some of our mountaintops were shrouded in the clouds, making visibility very poor.
That bus came within inches of crashing into a home. Leah Bowling talked with the homeowners who woke up to quite a scene.
Now behind me here, you can actually see the tire tracks where the bus rolled through 2 front yards and ended up in front of this house, where it was finally stopped by this trailer filled with mulch.
Well, I was sleeping at the time and heard a big thump.
Daryl and Valerie Smith are the owners of the house.
We came out here and here's a yellow school bus in my trailer in front of the garage.
We're thankful no one was injured, though.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse.
They say the trailer in the driveway was a blessing in disguise.
I had just picked up all that mulch and all the weight in there definitely slowed that bus down before it got to the house.
There was only minor damage to the house. Tug Embry is a sophomore at Signal Mountain Middle High School. He was waiting for the bus outside of his home when he saw it all happen.
There, I was standing just like I said, right next to my mailbox. So, what's that, like 20 feet? So, not too far, but that's still pretty close. Yeah, she hit that ditch and went straight into their house. It's crazy, man. I was shaking for like half an hour just sitting there.
He says his friends were on the bus.
Yeah, my girlfriend and her sister were on there. So, my girlfriend's sister hit her head, I guess. She's okay.
Smith cautions all drivers to stay alert during foggy conditions.
Foggy out here, one of those typical mornings where you got to be careful when you're driving.
Reporting on Signal Mountain, I'm Leah Bowling, Local 3 News.
Hamilton County Schools says the crash will not impact students along the route. They say a substitute driver will be there for the time being, making sure students get to and from school.
Cornelia Nicholson spoke with a mother of a student on that bus.
Cornelia, tell us what she said about the incident.
David, Kathy Fisher is still pretty shaken up from this incident that happened this morning. She tells me that...
Delia, she was telling us there that the woman was shaken up from the incident. She says she got a call from her son who was on the bus that had gotten into the accident. And she says she immediately got into the car, saw the school bus in the yard, and she said she stayed with the kids for about 30 minutes and ended up taking 3 of them home, and said it was so scary to get that phone call this morning. She says nothing like this has happened before. Kathy Fisher.
Yeah, well, there have been some bus accidents. I think the mountain is tough to drive on. There's so many sharp curves and it's so curvy. So there have been accidents where the bus backed into a tree, I think last year or the year before, and things like that, minor things, but nothing where a bus drove through 3 yards.
She also told Cornelia she's grateful that her son and the other kids were not injured in that crash, and says she will not be putting her son back on the bus until this incident is fully investigated. Our thanks to Cornelia for putting together that story.
Well, investigators say Margaret Miles, the driver, was not wearing her seatbelt when the crash happened.
And Dallas Payton looked into the laws regarding bus drivers and seat belts. Dallas, what do you have for us?
David, Cindy, Sergeant Corey McNeil with the Collegedale Police Department says bus drivers have to follow the exact same laws as any other person operating a vehicle in Tennessee does. Now, Miles, again, was the bus driver in the Signal Mountain incident. She's facing 2 charges. The first charge is for a seatbelt law violation. The other charge is drivers to exercise due to care, whether it's seatbelt, speed limits, distracting driving, and any other requirements. Bus drivers have to follow the Tennessee law. Although bus drivers are required to wear a seatbelt, not all buses have them for students.
According to Tennessee Highway Safety Office, school buses 10,000 pounds or less have to have seat belts on every designated seat, whereas the larger school buses don't. And that's because of the way they're designed to take the crash force and reduce it, and makes it safer for the students that aren't wearing seat belts.
As for penalties for bus drivers without seatbelts, McNeil says if the driver is a district employee, then the county will discipline the driver. If not, then the district can discipline the contractor with the fine. The contractor can then discipline the driver. Even though Miles is charged with a Class C misdemeanor, she still has to appear in court and will do so on May 22nd. We'll continue to follow the case and update you as things happen. Reporting live on Signal Mountain for Local 3 News, I'm Dallas Payton.
All right, Xavier, thank you very much for that update.
And you can find the latest information inside our app and on our website. We'll keep you posted.
We're watching the radar. We know many of you are as well this evening for good reason. We're supposed to play a ball game in Chattanooga tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. And I think it's looking okay. I think we're going to be able to do that tonight. So, of course, yesterday was not the case. Today, I do think we're going to be able to do that. Let me show you the radar here, and you'll be able to see most of the Tennessee Valley is still dry right now, but we've got a couple of little pop-up tiny showers showing up. I do want to show you one that we have here just a little while ago here that was over Dalton that was popping up there just near the College Drive area there. Here you go, seeing that little batch of heavy rain now just to the west of Pleasant Grove along I-75. And then we've got some more activity here developing here just to the south and east of Lafayette as well. We're seeing a couple of those pop-up showers showing up, but these are very tiny in nature here across northwest Georgia. But I do want to show you here that we do have a little more widespread light rain showing up here down towards the south over northeast Alabama, crossing into portions of Walker and Catoosa counties, and that's drifting north towards the Chattanooga area. So future scan, taking the radar, projecting out about at an hour, you can see some of this light rain drifting out of Alabama through northwest Georgia, clipping Chattanooga and heading up towards Cleveland here. But again, it's light, it's not going to last very long, and I don't think it'll be anything that will cancel the game. So for first pitch at 7:15, I think just a few spotty light showers out there, but temperatures in the low 70s, dropping into the 60s throughout the game. Now, we're quiet here because we've got this big storm complex to our south, but we're watching some new activity developing back towards the west. That's what we've got to keep an eye on for late tonight. That'll bring us a low-end risk for a few strong gusty winds and the potential of some isolated flash flooding. We'll take a look at the latest futurecast, time it out for you hour by hour in just a few moments. Guys.
Thank you, Cedric. The TBI is investigating allegations of sexual abuse involving Bledsoe County Deputy Peyton Watson. A spokesperson says the incident involving a female inmate happened in October. The TBI was asked to investigate. They say they cannot share any more details because the case is still under investigation. Stay with Local 3 News on air and in our app for new developments in this story.
And coming up, Usher soon returns to his hometown, and he will be receiving a key to the city, and you can watch it happen.